me, it was always about creating worlds for children that had positive values. It was finding a profession where I could take both my belief that community is really important and giving values are really important, and also make a living all at the same time. And I loved camp from the first day I walked in, but it was just a great environment for me. It fit who I was.
It certainly has changed over the years, the camp community.
Yeah, the camp community has changed. I think the people that, when I got into camping, most people had an educational background. I had been a teacher beforehand. Today you see many more business people, former lawyers, people with business degrees going into camping, and that has changed. But the basic fundamentals of what camping is, which is creating positive worlds for children, that hasn't changed at all, and I don't think ever will. I hope never will. Short term, I think that camping in the short term is really in a good place, but I guess because I've had a long career, I am an optimist, but I do think there are concerns about changing populations that we need to be thinking about. And if I were looking 5 to 10 years out, which is where I think a profession ought to be looking, I would be concerned not that they're not really negatives, they're just opportunities for us to work with and to figure out what the next.
Well, I know you've talked a lot about diversity and diversifying the population of camps.
Yeah.
Campers.
So I like the word expansion better, that we need to expand who our marketplace is and who our, not just who our customers are, but also the people who are delivering our service. So what I mean is, if you are looking at your population base, let's divide into two tranches. Let's talk about campers and let's talk about staff, okay? Because without staff, you can't really have a camp. And the pool for staff is changing, and we need to understand that, right? I was at a conference not too long ago about college students and college admissions officers, right? And there's, in the Northeast in particular, there's tremendous concern about the size of the pool for college. So we see colleges going out of business, right? Because they can't recruit enough students. And we know over the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a significant diminution in the number of college students. So a profession that's dependent on college students, right, better start thinking about what that means, particularly when you combine it, and here I will be political for a minute, right, with the Trump administration's concern about J-1 visas and the potential to make it harder to bring in foreign staff. So if we don't expand what we think our counselor base should be, right, we're going to have a shortage of counselors. We just are. Now that means everything from ethnic background, religious background, what they look like, who they are, and a lot of camps are doing that. But it's going to accelerate for the next 5 to 10 years. You know, I think Jewish camping will figure out what's good for them. I think that they will have to understand their populations better. But I think that in general, people are looking for tribes. The biggest challenge for Jewish camping outside of orthodoxy is birth rate, right? It's just the number of Jewish children is significantly down, right? And we know that's going to get worse, not better. In general, we know that it's below sustainability right now. So that's a concern. We also know that geographically it's a concern because the Northeast, Jewish population in the Northeast is shrinking significantly. It's one. I had a family, I had parents, a father in particular, who all he was going to do, he wanted his children to be educated. We were only allowed to apply to liberal arts colleges because my father believed that the liberal arts were how, he was an engineer, he didn't have that background, and he wanted that. And both my sister and I went to liberal arts colleges, and then when you graduated, you weren't qualified to do anything but go on to school, but that was what he wanted. So I thought I was going to be a college professor, right? I did a PhD, finished in '74, right, and was teaching, and the opportunity came to go into camping full time. I never dreamed I would be a camp director, and then I never dreamed that I would be a camp director owning my own camp, and then I never dreamed I'd be a camp director that owned multiple camps and would have the opportunities I've had for leadership. So it's all a dream, and I tell people all the time that you know, at this point, looking for the most part backwards, I had my time, I had the opportunity to do things. Hopefully, we contributed pretty positively to the industry because I do love the industry. I'm not always sure I love my colleagues, but I do love the industry, like all of us. But I do, and I think that for me, I tell people it was an opportunity to have a profession and a way to make a living where it was rare to have a moral dilemma. right? There aren't many professions where you can say that. Camping rewards doing the right thing in the right way, and I always felt strongly about that. I was raised in a house where doing the right thing was really important, and I managed to stumble into a profession where that was valued.